Today's episode is brought to you by Babel. Babel's going to get you learning that second language you've always been meaning to do, or maybe your first language and you're just very bad at it. I don't know. We'll see that later. Let's jump into this podcast. Hello, everybody. It's time for Jesse and Crendor.
Jesse and Crendor in the morning.
In the morning. Broadcasting live. Before our recording studio audience. Recording. Wake your ass up. It's Crendor in the morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to an exciting episode of Jesse and Crendor in the morning. Yeah. How you doing? What's going on? Talk to me, dude. It's so nice to hear your voice, or your whatever that was. That
That was a lot of things you just threw at me there.
Well, I figured I'd start us off right and just hit you. I bombard you, carpet bomb you with questions. I don't remember what I said, so you better remember.
Well, you said like, how are you? How you feeling? How you doing? What all at once? It's like,
yeah. Well, talk to me.
All right. Doing all right.
More talking. Like podcast levels of communication.
Well, right.
I'm okay.
I'm doing pretty good. I wrote down some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Wrote down a couple things. First thing I wrote down was Shrek, because we watched Shrek.
The first thing I wrote down was Shrek. Here's the thing. Shrek stands up to this day as a fantastic film.
It does.
It's very good.
Yeah. Like, it's a solid movie. It doesn't even matter how old you are or whatever. Like, you watch it and you're like, dude, it's a pretty good movie.
It's a good-ass movie. Agreed. Yeah.
And then we started watching Shrek 2. Even Shrek 2 is pretty good.
Shrek 2 is fun. After 2, it goes downhill. But, Shrek 2 is fun.
Yeah. Which is, sometimes the second one for a lot of people isn't that good. So, I mean, just having 2, that's, better than most movie series.
I told you about my writing class, yes? I'm sure I have.
Oh, yeah, I think
on this
so.
podcast.
That's where you said you, wrote about yourself.
Yes. So they asked me to continue that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They asked me to continue that thought process and continue, what would this show be? What would this be? And so literally the way I described it, and I stole you, by the way. You're in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So the catalyst for my character to, go off on their adventure, you know how in Star Wars is Luke finds Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan sends him the death of his family, and Obi-Wan's like, come on, let's go. And call to adventure. In my case, it's you. And I was like, yeah, so it's this aging influencer who's obsessed with numbers, but then his friend does not care, and he does his own thing, and he's the antithesis, and everyone's like, oh, that's really good. And then one of the people in class goes, oh, so Shrek and Donkey. And I realized, Crendor, you and I are Shrek and Donkey.
Oh, yeah. We actually are. But I feel like our personalities are also kind of blended into both of them.
Yes, of course.
Because sometimes I'm more Donkey, sometimes you're more Donkey, and sometimes I'm more Shrek, sometimes you're more Shrek.
But that's who we are. That's our relationship.
Yeah. No, it's very true.
Yeah, so that's what I heard from the class. They were like, oh, Shrek and Donkey. And I was like, oh my God, Crendor and I are Shrek and Donkey. I was like, great, cool. Yeah.
And then I wrote down talking about your Final Fantasy, because I was on your Final Fantasy stream, and you were just you just gotta try, you just gotta skip the first 50 levels and then do a thing.
Oh no, don't skip them. You definitely have to do them. The problem is you definitely have to do them. You can skip, but you miss out a lot of stuff that's story important, which I know you don't care about. But for most people, the reason why you play this game is because of the story. And it's a lot of world building and that kind of thing. So you want to do it, but I know it would bore you to death. It's one of those games that everyone's going to tell you the same thing because everyone's had the same experience. Everyone's told that eventually it gets very, very good. And then when you get there and you're like, oh my goodness, this is very, very good.
Yeah.
You understand what they're talking about. But the reality of it is, to get to the very, very good, you have to go through the beginning. That's kind of like a makeshift put together version of the original game. For those of you who have no idea, Final Fantasy XIV had a 1.0. And it was notoriously panned. It sucked. It was not very good. So they remade the game in a 2.0 version. And it was significantly better, but it's all right. That version was all right. But since then, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0 have been amazing. They've been truly incredible experiences, but you still have to play through that starting experience, which is very hard to get people to do because it's not nearly as good as the current content, which just keeps getting better and better and better. And so basically when you say to someone, come play Final Fantasy XIV with me, either you're asking them to skip the story, which is the whole point of the experience, or you're asking them to play through stuff that they're going to question why they're your friend. They're going to be like, wait, why am I doing this? This is so boring. But, it's one of those things you have to say, trust me. And then when you make it to the other side, you will be part of the group that's like, wow, that was amazing. But at the same time, it's tough to do that for a lot of people.
It reminds me of when people would suggest me to watch anime. And I'm like, I'm very selective with anime. I'm not a big anime person, but when I do watch an anime, I like it. Like I've watched like Attack on Titan. I like Parasite. I like the Demon Slayer. I think that's the one.
Okay.
And there's like
you're like way more anime than me. I'm over here like,
and there's maybe like one or two more. That's in a span of probably like 9 years.
Sure.
And people be like, oh, you just haven't seen this one. And I'm like, no, I saw it, didn't like it. And they're like, you just haven't seen this one. So I think a lot of people they like it. So they're like, oh, well, he's got to like this one. I'm like, I don't think you understand. I don't like this thing. It's like how I'm like, oh, just watch the Green Bay Packer versus Chicago Bear football game. You'll like it. And they're like, I don't understand. Right?
I think you would enjoy some aspects of it, but I think a lot of it you would not. The thing the only selling point I can give you is that fishing, you never have to level ever. You only can level fishing, and at a certain point, you get an ability that makes enemies not detect you. So all you can just fish and become like the best fisher that ever lived, and not have to do anything else, basically. So it's one of those things where it's super, it's very chill, but it also clearly isn't for everyone, and. Yeah, that's why people in chat were like, Crendor should try it. And I was like, he will get like 2 days in and be like, I'm good. There's no way. Yeah.
First thing, I've never finished a Final Fantasy game in my life because I get bored. I'm not a big JRPG person. I'm not a big single player RPG person, actually. And so just anytime
I don't think you're a big RPG person in general.
I like some RPGs.
What's the last RPG you played?
Well, I mean, there's.
Exactly.
Are you talking like actual, like single player RPGs? Or are you talking like online RPGs?
I'm talking a single player RPG.
Oh, I mean, I don't like single player RPG.
That's what I'm saying. So this clearly is in a game that you would enjoy, right?
Right.
The reason why you enjoy WoW is because it's not even though it says it's an MMORPG. This is what I try to explain to people in chat. When everyone talks about WoW, I'm like, remind me what the plot was for the first game or for Burning Crusade. And honestly, they'll just sit there and be like, and they'll rack their brains trying to think of it because there was no plot. The plot was the adventures you and your friends got up to in that world. You were nobodies. You ran around. You experienced stuff. You got to see stuff from the RTS games. You got to meet characters that you're like, oh, we're going to go check out Sylvanas today. And you got to do all that stuff. And that was the fun. The story was what you made it, right? And that's why I think it's an MMORPG, while Final Fantasy XIV is more of an RPG MMO.
To me, is about you create this character and you're like a nobody, and they're like, go kill some boars, idiot. You're a nobody, and you're like, all right, and then you slowly progress as a character to be by the end of it, you're like, dude, now I'm like a hero in this world, and you go around, and there is no overarching story, but that's what I like. It's like, what am I doing here? Oh, Mancrick lost his wife. I gotta go find her for him. I gotta go, this guy is having quill boars attack his farm, right? I'm gonna go kill these quill boars. It's just a bunch of little stories, and I prefer that over a big story. Whenever I see you playing a game where it's a lot of cinematics and cutscenes, and they'll be like, Johnson, I've been looking all over for this thing. Where is it? And it gives you 10 dialogue options. I'm like, oh my God, I don't care. I would just I would escape past it. Or if I'm streaming one of those games, I just don't skip it because I'm like, chat probably wants to see this. But if I was playing alone, I would be skipping all this.
And that's a very WoW thing. Most of the WoW stuff is unimportant because they give you a box that pops up and is like, here's where to go, here's what to do. You don't need it, right? And most of the dialogue options and most things that happen in WoW are unnecessary. And in fact, only recently in the last expansion, they started even giving you options of dialogue. And it's, because that's not the game. The game is you have an objective and you go, the things you're doing are kind of mindless, but it's fun, right? Wow. The reason why I played for 15 years is because it's fun. It's not boring, but it's one of those things that, what I wanted from the game was not what they were giving me. And, I like story stuff. So I moved to Final Fantasy XIV. I'm happy, right? But you clearly don't want that, and you're happy. And everyone's allowed to be happy. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of just, different. It's the same. I was saying in the chat too, like, I like League of Legends. Some people would never want to play League of Legends, and they're, that's what it is.
I don't touch
already.
League of Legends. I have no desire to play League. Period. I know I'll just like get upset. It'll just make me upset, and I'll be mad the whole time, and just be like, "Why did I make this choice?" So I have decided not to. It's that.
That's
simple.
the fun part.
Maybe for you, that sucks. That sounds terrible.
So yeah, that was one thing. That's the one thing I've been doing is playing Burning Crusade this week. I've been having a fun time. I just got through.
I saw you were taking it slow. You were just like cruising through.
Because some people, like, that's one thing I wouldn't do. They're like, dude, I'm just power grinding dungeons. I've run Sethic Halls 50 times today. And I'm like,
why do that? What?
Gotta hit 70 fast, dude.
But why? Like, the whole point, my assumption is the whole point of re-releasing Vanilla WoW and now Burning Crusade is like, so you can go back and, like a good meal, savor it because it no longer exists. Even like that content's just not there.
Yeah, well, some people are like, dude, how I have fun is just getting the max fast, getting my epic flying, and then, like, powered. They just want to do it all fast. I'm like, that's fine, but I don't.
Yeah.
So that's, again, it's just however you want to play it. It's however you want to play it.
It reminds me of when you find a funny video and you show it to your friend and your friend doesn't think it's all that funny. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right if you think something's hilarious and your friend is like, whatevs. It's okay. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
If they're your friend, they'll just be happy that you like something and aren't just miserable all the time. Like, God, I'm so happy you like that video and aren't just like an awful mess all the time.
Speaking of which, how's your scheduling?
Yo, this week was great. So everyone is back in the office. That's where I'm at right now, recording this with you. I'm in our little soundstage studio area, and it's great. And, it was, everything's good. We did scheduling on Monday. We have everything planned out. Everything's sort of coming together. We're reworking a bunch of things. Finally able to record Gentlemen's Club. Like, you know what? It feels like finally things are getting back to normal, even though I recognize that in most of the world that's not the case. But at least in my little corner of California, things are starting to be, like, literally right down the street today. There's a Harley Davidson place really close to the office. Right down the street, they're doing like a biker meetup, and there might be 1,000 bikers blocking the road, just like in their leather jackets, all looking roughly the same. And I was like, yes. Life returns to normal. And they're just like all in the street drinking. I'm like, yes. So, in this little corner, things are starting to improve.
You work out?
I did. I had time to work out. Although I did, so I have those weights that kind of like, you like click the sides and it picks up different weight. And in my move, I broke one of them because I'm an idiot. So finally, the replacement showed up. And so now I have two weights again. Very excited about that. And then I have my elliptical. And so on advice from my dad, because I felt like, like a dude. You know how sometimes you feel like a dude? You're like, yeah, I'm a dude. I moved the weight stuff upstairs so I can do it on my roof. Like a dude. Yeah. So now I do it outside in the morning. Because it never rains here. And then I got a tarp just in case it rains. So I can throw it over the bench. Yeah, but it never rains, so.
What are you doing? You doing like bicep curls? You can shoulder press?
I have a sheet that was sent to me along, like, literally 3 years ago that I just never used, but I've always kept because I'm that guy where I'm like, one day I'll use this. And it's literally just like a list of different things to do that's like an on-again, off-again thing where it's like do these X things on a Monday, then do these X things on a Tuesday,
Yeah.
and then do these X things, like that kind of stuff. So I'm working on it. I'm trying. It's a work in progress. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
But it's it's one of those things where I now have time. Like I'm making time to do things actively because I don't want to get yelled at by you. And
Nice.
So far so good. Yeah. So far so good. I just don't want to be confronted every week on this podcast where you're like, so did you? And I'm like, I don't know.
And then
No,
you go to your
Dad.
parents, and then they're like, so did you? And then you go on Twitter, and everyone's like, so did you?
I don't need that. That sounds like a mess. That sounds like the worst life ever. So, did you? No. Leave me alone. Yeah. No, thankfully now I have enough time to do stuff, and because everything's sort of working and there are now people in the background like doing things again, when it was in the before COVID times, everyone was kind of like on their own and it was like herding cats. You'd have to be like, okay, so did you do this today? Did this happen today? What are we doing with this? And now it's I can walk one room over and be like, all right, let's plan our whole day. And it's so good. I know going into offices and stuff is a pain in the ass, but like, man, it's so nice to just be able to look a person in the eye and be like, where do we stand on this?
How?
And then it just gets done. Oh, it's so nice.
How many people you got in there?
So right now it's myself and Mari who's doing all the editing stuff. And then Kristen has moved to 6040 Studios, my new this other company that is Dodger and my gaming
Oh, the
studio.
gaming one.
Yeah. And so we're going to work on that, and Kristen's leading that project. So she's looking for a contracted dev at the moment to work on a thing that we're doing. I think we found a guy who's really good. So we're gonna make it like a little super duper alpha version of the game, just so we can see what it looks like. Without
You need
any
some
of that
voice acting in there. I'm gonna tell you right now, you got top tier talent.
You couldn't even say quality. You were like
You got
top tier
You
talent.
got top. If you need a guy who messes up all his lines, I'm right here.
Well, it's an FMV game, so there's not going to be any voice acting in it, but
All
there
right,
will
if
be
you-
acting. So
You need acting.
I will see about that. I'll look at. I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up at our next meeting. I'll see what they say. So that's one of those things where the more we look at it, the more it's kind of like, all right, what is our timeline for this game? And so maybe 2023 is when so there's a lot of work to do. Then Julia is our newest hire, and so we're seeing if she wants the job, right? So she's doing a temporary work thing because she doesn't live in the area right now. And so she would be the new Kristen, and she would handle all the Kristen-y things if she wants the job. And so so she hasn't taken time to look around the area. So today I met her for breakfast and was like, let's go look at places where you could live in LA. And watching someone who doesn't live in LA experience all of LA in one day was wild. She was tired. At the end, she was just falling asleep in the car, just that was a lot. I'm like, I know. You should have done this weeks ago.
I'm like that getting on the plane to LA. Tires me out before I even get there.
Well, I'm like that on every plane. I'm before we take off, I'm asleep. Yeah, and she's like, I don't want to live near Hollywood. I was like, great, don't. She's like, all these places that I want to live are too far away. I'm like, yep, they are. I was like, this is why I said hey, come out here and work with us for a while. See if you want the job first before you go gung ho about moving to LA, because that's a huge thing. Not a lot of people like LA.
Oh yeah, no, I hate LA.
So.
I've been there,
I love LA. I think it's a super fun city, but it's also 100% not for everyone. It is. It's not a city. It's weird. It's a weird place.
I like visiting LA. I would never want to live in LA. I think that's my thing. It's just hot, polluted, with fake people.
She was like, I can't understand why there are just no trees. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I look up, I don't see trees overhanging the streets. It's just sky, and it's freaking me out. I was like, that's because you're from suburb Boston, where the trees protect you from that 12 feet of snow.
That's true. Yeah,
I was
plus,
like, here,
I mean, it's
everything
literally
is
a
sky
valley.
and it never rains. You know?
You're literally in like a desert valley.
Yeah. Around us are the when I was driving back from the desert a few weeks ago, I saw the craziest thing, but I like get it, but you never really see weather effects that often. It was wild. We're like, I was going up over the mountains. So for people who don't understand what LA is like, imagine a ring of mountains surrounding a valley that then connects to the ocean, right? So these mountains are what keep all the rain and stuff out. So that's why in LA it's sunny all the time and maybe rains 3 times a year, maybe. Like we'll have like a rainy season where it rains for 4 days and then that's it. So most of the rain gets caught up in the mountains. And so as I was driving back in, I was going up over the mountains and I saw a thunderstorm that was on the way back. And as soon as I hit the other side of the mountains, the rain had stopped. So like the mountains, I was watching the mountains stop the rain in real time. It was crazy. I was like, look at that. What the hell? I was like, look at this. Nature, you weird. So yeah. So I was like, it's so strange that, you know, those mountains are, you know, you can see mountains from where I'm at with snow on top of them. And then down here, it's like dry as hell. It's so weird, man. Yeah, LA is a strange place, but there are a lot of people here, and there's a lot to do. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of people that live in LA don't even like living in LA, but they're like, I'm not going to leave.
I think that's true. It's because so much stuff is here business wise, especially if you want to be in entertainment. You know, if you want to be in entertainment, if you're not in New York or LA, there's no reason why you'd be anywhere else, like, you know, to break in at least, right? And from there you can be like, yeah, I do a thing in Chicago or I'm in Atlanta working, you know, on whatever, because Atlanta has a lot of the filming stuff now, right? But to start, New York or LA is where you have to be to like get your name in anyone's ear, and that's just tough because the city is really competitive and everyone here is kind of like a little up their own ass, if I'm being honest. But that's, you know. Today, when we got breakfast, we went to this place that was very, very good. But like across from us was this dude in the biggest, most gaudy shades I've ever seen in my life. And he was meeting people for breakfast. And I knew immediately how he was going to sound like based on just how he looked. So when everyone sat down at the table, he's like, well, everyone, hey, welcome. And I was like, oh, my ass. Oh, I would not ever associate with this person. He's like, don't worry, I've got it. I'll put it on my card. And I was like, oh. Julie and I were laughing at their conversations because they were like, this guy was just like, I mean, I understand why people die in Death Valley after all. And we were just like, what the hell are they talking about? It was that. Oh, it was terrible. I was like, I hate this guy. I hate everything about him.
Yeah, that sounds like prime, like great podcast material, and then get away.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything over here is going well. But there's always space for improvement, is what I think.
Yeah, I mean that should be anybody. Like I never trust anyone where they're just like, this is who I am, take it or leave it, or like, well, it's like, I mean, everybody can improve in some way. Like no matter who you are.
I learned the hard way that if you know someone who has a tattoo that says, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Trust me when I say the best ain't that great.
Yeah, no, that's a red flag right there. That's already saying like, I'm awesome. If you don't like it, gotta get out of here.
Yes, that also is saying, I can be a terrible person sometimes, and if you don't like that, get out of here. And it's like,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
No, like, where's the tattoo that's like, hey, everything will be all right. That's the one I'm gonna get right above my butt. Hey, everything's gonna be all right.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think now is a great time to go talk about Babel. For most of us, learning is a second language in high school or in college, and it isn't exactly the high point of our academic careers. Trust me, it is the Spanglish that I remember, and that is about it. Now, thanks to Babel, the #1 selling language learning app, there's an addictively fun and easy way to learn a new language. Whether you're about to travel abroad, or you just want to get like in deeper with your family, or you just have free time, or for job hunting purposes, it's that time, y'all. Babel teaches bite-sized language lessons that you can actually use in the real world. I am doing Spanish again. I've been using Babel. The lessons are like 15 minutes. They're simply perfect. You can start at the most basic. I'm not going to lie, that's what I did. I was like, I need to make sure I remember everything. So I went literally the most basic lesson. It was just, I was doing hola and, like me amo. I was doing the whole thing, like the most basic lessons of Spanish. And I was like, nailed it. And it actually take, for me, less than 15 minutes because I'm starting at the beginning and I'm just going through it. The courses are designed to be practical and real world and to have like a conversational attitude in mind. Things you'll use in everyday life. Other language learning apps are using AI for lesson plans, but Babel has over 100 language experts. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective. And there are 14 languages to choose from. Spanish, French, Italian, German, all sorts of different ones. Plus, the speech recognition technology helps you improve your pronunciation and accent, right? My pronunciation, I couldn't even say that word. Babel would be like, pronunciation, dummy. Start your new language learning journey today. It wouldn't call you a dummy. You'd be like, Jesse, I love you. It wouldn't do that either, actually. Babel wouldn't do that. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babel subscription, you can get an additional 3 months for free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to Babel.com and use promo code Cox. That's BABBEL.com, code Cox, for an extra 3 months free. That's 6 months. Think about how much language you can learn in 6 months. Go to Babel.com, use promo code Cox to get an extra 3 months free. Now let's go jump to Jesse and Crendor. How's that traffic out there?
Whoa, man, if you're looking to travel, it's still crazy out there. It's like the last couple of weeks. It's been left and right cars. Everyone's going out into their cars, their automobiles, their RVs, their planes, their trains, everything. It's like they're going crazy out there. So just look both ways before you cross the street. Look underneath your boat for sharks. You never know when one of those is gonna pop up. And back to you.
Why you gotta bring up sharks like that? Why do you make it like awkward for me?
I don't know. I wasn't trying. It just kind of happened.
The shark just popped up. Yeah, it popped up on you.
Yeah, it just popped up on me.
All right. Well, speaking of popping up, let's talk weather.
Weather time. All right, let's check the old YouTube thing, see if we get a little suggestion here, Cox Crendor.
Today we're going to Crampstonsterberg. Now I'm looking that. Now I gotta look up Crampstonsterberg. There is no Crampstonsterberg. There is no Crampstonsterberg, in fact.
No Crampstonsterberg?
Not that I can see. According to the world, there's no Crampstonsterberg.
We got Taintsville, Florida. It's not even popping up on the weather.
That's because with its boundaries encompassing both sides of the highway and over 1 square mile total, Taintsville has a population of 80 citizens. That explains that.
Taintsville.
It is. Is it like right in the middle of the Everglades? Where is Taintsville? Oh, it's like outside Orlando, kinda.
Let's see.
Kinda.
In Seminole County.
So I'm looking at the main intersection of Taintsville. Just a heads up. In Taintsville, what I can see so far is 4 churches, 1 convenience mart, 1 place called Publix Liquors, and then if I scroll out a little bit further, a patio supply store for a swimming pool, a grocery, and a vape store.
That sounds about right for Taintsville, honestly.
Yeah, that's definitely Taintsville.
Where do you want to go after church? Definitely got to get my vape, and then I got to go to the liquor store. But
vape for Jesus, bro. Yeah, no, wow, it is in. It looks like it. Well, I guess those are lakes. I was about to say it's in the swamp, but it looks like lakes.
Yeah, no, I think it is. Yeah, it's
Taintsville. What does the satellite look like? Ooh, Taintsville.
It's raining over there.
Now, I can't tell, because Taintsville, there's a place next to it called Cholata? I don't know how you say that, but I feel like that's the town. And then, because there's a lot of people living in that area, and it's definitely more than 80. But then if I scroll into where it says Taintsville is, there is like 3 dudes. So I don't know what the rules are here.
All right, yeah, let's see. They are. Oh yeah, I guess it is by Orlando. So yeah, let's.
I mean, like geographically, it's close. I don't know how far it is a drive, but geographically, it's very close.
Chulua. There we go. Chuluota.
Yeah.
All right, let's go there.
It's close enough. The weather's not going to be any different.
Yeah. 85 degrees, partly cloudy, 2% chance of rain. Feels like 93 with that humidity. You got a 66% humidity, pressure 30.05 inches, 10-mile visibility, winds at 15 miles an hour. Going to the west, 2.73, UV index 1 to 10. You got your waning crescent moon phase, sun rising at 6:25 a.m., setting at 8:20 p.m. 10-day, you've got 90 on Monday, 89 on Tuesday, 90 on Wednesday, Thursday mostly sunny, Friday 92, Saturday 92, and then next week you're going to get hit with the scattered thunderstorms all week long in the high 80s. Thunderstorms low.
Can I tell you
90s.
Can I tell you some crazy stuff about this area?
Yep.
Quick fact. This is the only available quick fact about Taintsville. Taintsville is an unincorporated community in Seminole County, Florida, United States, located between Oviedo and Choluota. Sure, I'm never going to be able to pronounce that correctly because I don't. Whatever. On December 14th, 1971, it was formally designated as the village of Taintsville by Seminole County. The community's name was derived by residents saying, "It tain't Oviedo and it tain't Choluota," which I just want to let everyone know, the actual taint is because it's the taint. It taint the it taint the it's the taint. So I'm just saying, roughly the same thing.
The more you know.
Yeah, roughly the same thing.
That's the weather.
That's the weather. All right, let's go to sports.
Sports. All right, it's sports time. Buckle up, folks. We've got so many sports things going on. You don't even know. NBA playoffs. They're getting crazy. The Clippers beat the Mavericks today to move on to the next round of the playoffs. The Bucks are playing the Nets in the second round. Nuggets are playing the Suns in the second round. And the Hawks are playing the 76ers in the second round. And right now, Brooklyn's up 1-0, Atlanta 1-0. And the Clippers will now play against the Utah Jazz. That should be a good series. A lot of good basketball games. Over in hockey. Hockey. Canadians up 2-0 against the Jets in that series. You got the Bruins-Islanders series tied at 2. Colorado up 2-1 on the Golden Knights. Their next game's today. And the Lightning and the Hurricane. The Lightning are up 3-1. We were wrong. The Hurricane was supposed to win from last week.
Well,
but
I mean,
you never know.
Lightning's powerful, so
it is powerful. Yeah, maybe the Hurricane's gonna. Maybe that's just the eye of the hurricane. Now it's gonna roar in.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then in baseball, we've got the standings. Tampa Bay up in first place. White Sox in first. The Oakland A's in first. The New York Mets in first. The Milwaukee Brewers pulling ahead of the Cubs by half a game to go into first. Cubs are winning right now, so they'd be tied, though. And then San Francisco up 2 games over the Padres and 3.5 over the Dodgers. And that's baseball. I had a really weird memory, though. You know how, like, sometimes you'll just remember random moments from, like, meaningless things? Like, me and my parents, when I was in, like, I was like a junior in high school, and they're like, we want to go to Virginia for some reason. My dad's like, we got to see Williamsburg. He was obsessed with seeing Williamsburg. So we got there, and it was like 110 degrees. And we didn't even, like, do anything. We just, like, went to local shops and then got dinner at, like, random places. And then we didn't even look at any Williamsburg stuff.
Did you go to Colonial Williamsburg or just Williamsburg?
I think we were gonna go to, like, Colonial Williamsburg, but it was too hot. So he's like, we're not doing that. So we like drove all the way there to just like go shopping at the whole shops and like see some stuff and be hot.
I love that. I think that is, you drove all the way to Williamsburg and we're like, we don't need to go see the colonial part. That's stupid.
Yeah, so that's like all I remember was like him being like, it's too hot, and my mom being like, yeah, it is pretty hot. And then like I watched the Celtics beat the Lakers in the championship on TV when it was like a super thunderstorm outside. And then I got a magic book at the bookstore. I ate like, I don't know, I got food at the one place, and it was like catfish, and it was all right.
It really sounds like it like really stuck with you, this whole experience.
Here's the thing, it actually did. And then I remember on our way back, we ate at a Red Lobster.
Yeah, well,
like,
you know.
It's like a Red Lobster, and cause we were driving back. It was like in Ohio or something. Like Columbus. I don't know. That was just one of those trips. It's like, you're getting to the end of high school. We should take a big family trip. And we were like, okay, and then that's what it was.
I can't believe, but like, it's shocking to me that you drove all the way there and then like didn't do the thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's the most Crendor thing I've ever heard, but I realize now it stems from your family. It's not just you.
Yeah.
Your family's like, we drove to Colonial Williamsburg and didn't see Colonial Williamsburg.
Yeah, now you're starting to see how my personality shaped.
It's all coming together, yeah.
It's like going to, it's like if I went to LA to do something, it's like, man, what if we just like sat inside?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, I don't know why, I just remembered that. I think maybe because it's hot out, and it's reminding me. Either way, do you have any of those, like a family trip you had to go on and then?
Here's the thing. Every family trip I went on, whatever the purpose of the trip was, that was the focus. Mm-hmm. Like, so there would be things planned way in advance. My mom is that, like, she plans everything way in advance and makes it her life goal to, like, get those things done. And so days are based around key events. So whenever the day is, like, that's what we're doing today, that we're doing that, and everything else is based around that. Usually, for my mom, it's finding the restaurant space. So it's like, all right, for breakfast we're doing this, and then for lunch we're doing this, and then we go to this place and we do this, and it's like, okay, geez. And everything else along the way is kind of like, whatever.
Yeah. Huh. Well, how many trips did you take? It was like one a year? Like every other year?
God. It definitely wasn't every year, and I don't know that it was every other year. But yeah, we would go, you know, all sorts of different places. God, I can't remember all the places we went. But most of the time it'd be like I visit a relative, or, you know, something along the way. We'd do a thing. We never had one of those trips that was like, we're going to go to this national park. It was because like we were in the area anyway. We'd do a thing.
Oh yeah, I see.
But, I mean, most of the time I was fortunate that even with, like, my first trip to D.C. was with my school. You know, a lot of the traveling we did was, I mean, most of the vacations we did weren't like, we're going to go to some place outside of the state. It would be like we'd still be in Ohio, but we would go to Lake Erie. Or we would go to somewhere my dad would teach me how to sail, like that kind of thing. And we'd get like a little tiny baby sailboat. And my dad and I would just be like trying to figure out how to sail out in a lake, and we'd always topple over and stuff. But it was fun. Like that kind of vibe.
We would always just go to the Wisconsin Dells or Door County, which is like, if you're from Chicago, you've probably gone to one of those places before.
Sure, I believe that.
Door County's like northern Wisconsin by like Green Bay. It's like where everybody will go, like, you got to go up there, you get the fish fry, you sit out by the water, and you just relax. That's like the staple, like, if you're going to retire, you probably go to Door County.
Sure.
And then Wisconsin Dells is more the family thing with water parks and things to do and stuff, so we'd always do that.
I'm trying to think, like, I feel like in high school, we didn't really, my parents are probably going to roast me for this, but I feel like we didn't really go to, like, I remember we went to, a place in Florida that I can't remember the name of it right now, but my parents loved it there. And that was very nice. And, you know, we went to New York. And I've been to places, but it was always like a parent was on a business trip and I got to go along. Or, you know, like there were a few times we went on like vacations, but it wasn't all the time. You know, it was like every 2 or 3 years-ish. But, you know, that was 1,000 years ago, it feels like. So I don't remember the details at all.
Yeah.
My parents, of course, remember all of it because, you know, they weren't, my vacations were like, do what my parents want to do, and then some hours of the day go like find an arcade somewhere because a single child on vacation with your parents is boring as hell, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, that's just you like have to keep yourself busy. Thank God for Game Boy. When that came out, that saved my life.
Oh yeah, I remember they'd be like, we'd be in the Wisconsin Dells, so they'd be like, we're gonna go look at antique shops, and I'm like, I'm gonna play the Nintendo 64 you gotta pay for in the hotel room.
Yes,
So
I
I would
remember
just play like Star Fox, or I'd play Zelda and like get to like the end of the first level and then be like, I can't beat this, and then I'd quit. That was just good enough.
Yes. Yeah, and it was fine. Like I would go find local arcades and things and like meet new kids and like hang out with them. They're like my vacation friends. It was so weird. Like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna go down and see like Mikey. Like, who is that? I was like, oh, a friend I made. Because you know, parents do parenty things on vacation, and I'm sure, honestly, if I had to be real honest, I feel like they were happy that I would find my own things to get up to, so they didn't have to deal with my ass every minute of every day. So yeah, I mean, hopefully it was a vacation away from me as well, and they probably enjoyed that. I hope, because I would definitely. I'm like, no, I'm good. You guys go have fun. Do what you do.
If your parents are listening, they should tell you some stories that you don't remember.
I don't. Man, every time you tell me a story, I'm more embarrassed. It's either something I did that was really dumb or something they did that was really dumb. Either way, it's hilarious. It's always funny, but it's always like, boy, we are a comedy of errors, this family. We are a bunch of goofballs. Yeah, I don't know. It's a thing.
What sports?
All right, what is our big whatever fact of the day?
Hey, big fact of the day. This is a pretty good one. There's no such thing as pear cider.
What?
Yeah. This kind of blew my mind, because I was like, wait, pear cider? I thought it was just pear cider.
Can I just pear cider? Can I look this up?
Yeah, I guess. It says...
I'm looking at Wider's pear cider.
All right. Well, it says, wait. You're probably thinking, I had pear cider last week.
Yeah.
Actually... Cider is an alcoholic beverage made from fermented apples and only apples. Alcoholic beverages can be made from pears, but that drink is known as perry. The drink was popular in England for centuries, but fell out of favor during the second half of the 20th century. That turned around in the 90s when the drink was rebranded as pear cider.
Perry.
So
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. As apples are to cider, pears are to perry. We never call perry pear cider because cider is made from apples, not pears. But, oh, you're right. Yeah, they changed the name because it's like easier to say pear cider than perry because people don't know what that is.
Yeah. Huh.
Look at that. Okay. All right. Look at that. I mean,
What
technically it's pear cider. I mean, technically
It's
pear
yeah,
cider,
it's still pear cider, but it's just not pear. Yeah. I actually had an Angry Orchard yesterday because it was like 93 here, and I was like, you know what I want? Angry Orchard. That's like it's a refreshing drink, but it's also like sugary. But you know, sometimes you just want that alcoholic apple cider. You know.
I want to let you know that as you said that, the ad that popped up on my screen while I was reading about this was Angry Orchard, the like combo pack.
Oh, the combo.
It's like the variety pack. It has all the flavors.
Oh yeah, I had somebody on stream yesterday say they tried that and it was pretty good.
I don't know what's in it, but it's got multiple flavors.
That's
Wait,
what I
hold
love
on. Now I know
about
what's in it. It's got, oh my God, crisp apple, unfiltered apple. Don't know what that means.
Unfiltered.
Rosé. That's ridiculous. And then pear. Of course, pear. Hard cider.
Oh, they do have the pear cider as a part of the thing.
Yeah, who knew? See, and that's, again, that's why it's a cider. Anyway,
Stone
what is our
dry
big
cider?
news story of the day?
Sorry, they also have a stone dry cider.
Yeah, okay.
What do you mean, okay?
I said, okay.
Stone dry, that's exciting. That's their driest cider.
So
I love
dry.
a dry cider. Well, I like dry red wine, so I imagine I'd like a dry
a cider that's so dry that it hurts my mouth to drink.
Wait, they got apple varieties? What the
Just like real apples have varieties, they have apple
That's
varieties.
crazy.
What?
That's crazy. Now I want to get the variety pack. I just had the normal thing.
Idiot. What a giant waste of your time.
So yeah, that's that. Well, actually, I was gonna say someone tried that, and then people were talking about their ciders. That's the fun part of having like a streamer audience that isn't like 13 all playing Minecraft like all the other streamers that are like blah blah blah. Is everyone will be like, I've tried this like Angry Orchard cider thing, and then the chat bursts into like an alcohol cider thing. They're like, I don't like Angry Orchard. I like this hard cider thing, and like I drink this. And I'm like, shit, dude.
Well, thank God that's cleared up, because now we can get to the big news story.
Big news story of the day. 11-year-old pianist wears alligator costume to perform for lemurs.
What now?
11-year-old pianist wears alligator costume to perform for lemurs.
Why?
I guess we're about to learn.
Why an alligator costume? Because they'd be afraid of the alligator? They wouldn't go near him so you could play this. I don't know, man. I don't. Okay. Yes?
Seen Lotta Supat, I definitely said that wrong, performs weekly concerts at a Thailand zoo to keep the animals company while visitation is low because of COVID outbreaks. An 11-year-old pianist in Thailand is doing something quite noteworthy. She's performing music for lemurs at a zoo while dressed in an alligator costume. Sinlada has been performing weekly concerts at Khao Kiao Open Zoo southeast of Bangkok to keep animals company while visitation is low because of COVID outbreaks. I'm playing music to soothe the animals to help them feel relaxed and give them company so they are not too lonely. She wears a bright green alligator costume to blend in with her audiences, which have included music-loving lemurs, meerkats, hippos, and zebras. Her music, a medley of Thai folk and pop songs, seems to be striking a chord with the zoo animals, especially the lemurs, who often hop on the keyboard. Although that might bother some people, Supat has no problems with the lemurs getting up close and personal. I wanted them to be involved with me while I'm playing music, she said, according to Reuters. I don't mind.
Then
it is
why
if they are playing
then
music
why
with
the
me
alligator?
Too.
What? Then why the alligator?
I don't know. Why didn't she wear a lemur costume?
That's what I'm saying. If she wanted the lemurs involved, they would have been like, oh, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Right?
Zoo director, I can't even pronounce that. I'm not going to try. Said the animals are giving Supat's recitals positive reviews. Well, actually, now I got to try. Tawin Radanawangsawat.
Nailed it. Perfect.
You know what? It's probably pretty close.
Very close, I'd say.
We noticed that the animals were reacting, Tawin said. According to Reuters, they became curious while others appeared to be enjoying the music. So, I mean, really, this is a nice story. She's just playing music for the animals.
It's just the choice of outfit's very strange, but maybe alligator's all they had.
Yeah, that's also possible. They're like,
maybe
you
they were
gotta
just like,
buy
you know
an
what,
outfit.
this is it.
You gotta buy this outfit from the zoo store, and all we got is alligators.
Look, if we had more, we'd give you more, but all we got is alligators.
So you know what? Yeah, it's I mean, dude, what if some of the animals don't like the music?
I mean, I'm sure they'd let her know.
That's true. Like, stay away from the.
Yeah, they would. She would be
alligators.
attacked for sure. Yeah.
I guess hippos and zebras, meerkats, lemurs, yeah, like they like it. But maybe the giraffes don't. Maybe they're just like, music.
I don't. Why would the giraffe? Why the giraffes though?
Maybe the giraffes are like the old people, and some dudes like playing music outside the apartment complex, and they're just like, I'm trying to sleep. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It could be. You don't know.
I get that.
You don't know. That's the big news story of the day.
All right, that is the big news story of the day. Well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for listening or watching. I've been enjoying this podcast. Crendor, hit him with the social and not dressed up like an alligator or whatever. Unless you want to.
No, I'm good. We've got youtube.com/Cox and Crendor podcast. All these episodes are up on YouTube. Go check it out. All one word, Cox Crendor podcast. Also, take off the podcast part. You'll find the animations, funny animations. The League of Legends one was pretty new from a couple weeks ago. Still very good. Also, we're on Spotify. We're on SoundCloud. We're on iTunes. We also got our own stuff. We got youtube.com/Jesse Cox.
We also got our own stuff.
YouTube.com/Crendor. Also, youtube.com/Warhammer Crendor. I've been popping off over there if you like Warhammer. Also, Twitter.com Jesse Cox, Twitter.com/Crendor, Twitch.tv/Jesse Cox, Twitch.tv/Crendor, Facebook.com Jesse Cox, Facebook.com/Crendor, Instagram Notorious Cox, Instagram Crendor's taken, Patreon.com Jesse Cox, Patreon.com/Crendor.
Okay. That's it. We'll see you all next week. And as always, to be continued.